Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr. has issued an order temporarily preserving access to the common abortion pill, Mifepristone, while the Supreme Court decides whether to grant the Biden administration's emergency request to protect the Food and Drug Administration's (FDA) approval of the drug. This decision maintains the status quo while the justices study the briefs and lower court rulings, without indicating how the court will rule on this case, which is one of the most important ones regarding access to abortion since the conservative majority overturned Roe v. Wade last June. Justice Alito has established a quick schedule for the court's consideration of the case. The order is an administrative stay, instructing the groups challenging the FDA's approval of the abortion drug to file their brief by Tuesday at noon. The stay itself is set to expire on Wednesday at midnight, meaning that the court is very likely to act before then, and could curtail access to abortion even in states where it is legal. This article delves into the case and its implications, including the push to restrict abortion pills and how it could affect availability even where abortion is legal, among other issues. Place risks immediately eliminating the use of Mifepristone in medication abortion, they wrote. Mifepristone is used in combination with another drug, misoprostol, to end early pregnancies, typically up to 10 weeks gestation. Under the FDA's current label, patients may take the first drug at a medical office, then take the second drug later at home. The FDA has waived the requirement for the in-person office visit during the pandemic. In her application to the Supreme Court, Ms. Prelogar wrote that since the FDA's initial approval of the pill in 2000, more than 4 million women in the United States had used it. Requiring women seeking to end their pregnancies to travel to a medical facility in the midst of a pandemic unjustifiably imposes substantial risks to their health and well-being, she wrote. It also impinges on their constitutionally protected right to choose to have an abortion. Requiring in-person visits to obtain the drug is impractical and medically unnecessary, Ms. Prelogar wrote, adding that it imposes severe burdens on patients and disproportionately harms communities of color, low-income individuals, and rural women. The appeal has emerged as the latest front in a decades-long legal and political struggle over abortion in the United States. Last year, in a 6-3 decision in a case involving a Louisiana law regulating abortion clinics, Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr. joined the court's 4-member liberal wing in striking down the law. But Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who had been a member of that bloc, died in September, and was succeeded by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a conservative, who was nominated by President Donald J. Trump. In September, after the death of Justice Ginsburg but before Justice Barrett was confirmed, the court split 4-4 in a case concerning access to medication abortion during the pandemic. The tie left in place a lower court ruling that lifted a requirement that patients seeking the drugs pick them up in person from a medical facility. If the Supreme Court grants the Biden administration's request, the current status quo will be maintained while the case proceeds in the lower courts. If the court declines to intervene, the lower court's ruling will go into effect. Subscribe for more content like this. In either scenario, the case will be one of the most significant abortion-related cases that the Supreme Court has heard in decades, and it is likely to have a major impact on access to abortion in the United States. Mifepristone is a drug that is commonly used in combination with misoprostol to terminate early pregnancies. The FDA's current label allows patients to take the first drug in a medical office and the second drug at home, but the in-person office visit requirement has been waived during the pandemic. The Supreme Court has been asked to decide whether to allow access to Mifepristone to remain unrestricted or to uphold the in-person office visit requirement. In her application to the Supreme Court, Ms. Prelogar argued that requiring women seeking to end their pregnancies to travel to a medical facility during a pandemic imposes unjustifiable risks to their health and well-being and impinges on their constitutionally protected right to choose to have an abortion. She also contended that the in-person visit requirement is impractical, medically unnecessary, and disproportionately harms communities of color, low-income individuals, and rural women. This appeal is part of a decades-long legal and political struggle over abortion in the United States. Last year, the Supreme Court struck down a Louisiana law regulating abortion clinics in a 6-3 decision. However, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who had been a member of the court's liberal wing, died, and was succeeded by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a conservative nominated by President Donald J. Trump. The case will be one of the most significant abortion-related cases that the Supreme Court has heard in decades and is likely to have a major impact on access to abortion in the United States. More than 5 million women have used Mifepristone to terminate their pregnancies in the United States, and the drug is approved for use in dozens of other countries. If access to Mifepristone is limited, abortion providers may rely solely on misoprostol, which is less effective and more prone to cause side effects. The appeals court's order is in conflict with ones issued by a federal judge in Washington state in another lawsuit related to Mifepristone. In conclusion, the access to Mifepristone is a contentious issue that has far-reaching implications for women's reproductive rights in the United States. The Supreme Court's decision will determine whether or not women will continue to have easy access to Mifepristone, a safe and effective method of ending early pregnancies. The case has sparked widespread debate, with arguments ranging from issues of health and safety to women's constitutional rights. Ultimately, the outcome of this case will have significant implications for women's health and well-being, and for the broader fight for reproductive rights in the United States. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel for authenticity.